could not hold me, the ocean could not keep me though she tried. I traveled and conquered many times. Exhilaration swept in with the tide. Oh, the seas could not take me, war could not break me to feel so alive. Overflowing elation, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war. Hunting for food and pleasure, I am that which is unknown. I wouldn't lie, I wouldn't dare. Viking warrior, I am the beast, rising ready for battle. I fought my best, exiled to faraway lands, shape-shifting into what is more fitting. The seas could not take me, war could not break me to feel so alive. Overflowing elation, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war. I see the bear in me, eye to eye, we become one, prowling and hunting till the I am the Bear King.
As I travel this life alone, two paths both unknown, for what already has this life shown. The first step I diverged from normalcy, no paper cut out life for me. I did it my way, not much more to say. Less traveled, dark and cold, I came upon a fork in the road. I pondered, both mind free. The fall had come, for yellow is the autumn tree. Both I long to travel, for I'm but one. I could not sleep, for both were bent, the overgrowth and canopy. Where will destiny lead me? The first step I diverged from normalcy, no paper cut out life for me. I did it my way, not much more to say. I began my journey on the road less traveled. Regret haunts me at times, looking back wondering where the other path myself would find. But both paths are traveled equally Many take the zombie road to normalcy, and others seek individuality. From nowhere on the trail it appears 50-50. With every footstep came pitfalls and risks, rewards and opportunities. Looking back, what did I really miss? The first step I diverged from normalcy. No paper cut out life for me. I did it my way, not much more to say. There's no place for old men, a breed going extinct, as the youth coddles each other, and love appears to be in the air. Breeze singing and trees living, a time of generations dying. The sea is full, yet so many are falling. Born to die in neglect, with their unaging intellect. To ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go. I shall transcend this life so bold. How age makes a man invisible. He wanders alone, tattered as his clothes. Forgotten soul finds song in his heart. Monuments of magnificent, the seas have taken me to Byzantium. To ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go. I shall transcend this life so bold. Sages standing in holy fire, spiraling as the masters of my soul sing. Desire overwhelming.
Welcome, everyone, to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, Josh Turner. This is PRT. Join us in the real reality. The real reality. Here we go. I'm glad we got some people in here tonight. You know, considering everybody's like, oh, predicting my demise, because apparently I turned on my base or something. I never told my base to be political. I never. What is that? Apparently, I'm on the side of the devil. Really? Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Why? Because Fox News says so.
Yeah. Fox News.
Yeah.
I've already had it out with CNN. Now Fox News is after me. This just in. The super devil has announced that Josh Turner will be his new appointed elected chair. He has now appointed him the chair of the council of the super devil of Iran. Apparently, common sense and sensibility, those are just right out. You just, God forbid you should say, hey, man, this is not a good idea.
Well, everyone, like all your friends are just it's just a matter of time before they're enemies. So, of course, you have to turn on them.
Of course.
Obviously.
So that's what you do.
Because
I'm run by the super devil.
You mean you don't want to bomb the crap out of another country again and send Americans to
again and again and again and again and again
into a perpetual meat grinder?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You're not American.
It's un-American.
And you don't want to pay for it?
When you go to other countries too, like I have, I've been all over the world, and they don't look at us the same. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, America." They don't like America because we eat, you know, cheeseburgers and whatever. That's not that's not why they don't like you. They don't like us. They have a very specific reason why they don't like us. I mean, it's very specific. I had a person from Europe, okay, and I've been to Greece. I didn't go all over Europe. I haven't been all over Europe. I'd be lying if I told you I did. I haven't. But they told me when I was young, I was like, you know, they're like, we don't have the freedoms that you have, and y'all choose to throw them in the toilet and still follow ridiculousness. You know, and this channel is not the channel to get into that on. I'm just going to say this for those people that were attacking me on Facebook earlier in the last few days. I don't care. You're not going to watch my show anymore. Okay, well, don't then. I'm not watching you anymore, Billy.
Oh, we're finished, dude. We're done. That's it.
The Islamic robots are coming to eat my medication. That's your fault. If people like you would stand up for the good guys. Here's what I think of the war. I'm going to show you a little something here. I'll show you. This is what I think. I'm going to show you. A friend of mine sent me this. This is Israel versus Iran right here. Why don't you want to go and fight and die for Israel against the sand people?
Pretty much. I mean, it's really that simple.
I mean, I could give a damn about the Tuscan Raiders. You know, I try to avoid them. They're kind of blowy uppy. I just
yeah.
You know, I if you see one of them get on a city bus, you might just kind of go like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna maybe just get off. I don't, you know.
They've been known to have an explosive temper.
You have an explosive temper, let's put it that way. But it's not for no reason. But I do think that they do, you know, they do some stuff. And they said, well, their own neighbors don't like them. Their own neighbors don't like them because they're not falling in line and their neighbors are rich. The rich neighbors don't like them because they're like, hey, look, we're making money with these people. Stop, you know. That's why. But I could tell you straight up, if you came to me and told me you were I can't have a dog, I'll kick your freaking ass with your bed sheets on. I don't care. I was at the gym earlier and these two guys, you see that? They're wearing bed sheets.
Yeah.
Man, get GTFO,
so
dude.
Annoying,
Get the freak. You're so sickening. You make me sick. Like you make me sick.
Yeah,
like,
what is there a
my
virgin?
stomach is hurting when I think about these people, dude. I'm not even joking, dude. Like I'm not even, and that's not even. But the people that we have to go fight for, it goes beyond their annoyances and shit like that. It's like way beyond that. Yeah. So we'll talk about all that. We'll get into that on the random files. We're not gonna do that here. But that's just for the critics that think that I'm pro-Islamic, because I'm not. You thought wrong if you thought that. I mean, get the heck out of here. I'm pro-freedom, is what I am. But by the same token, I mean, if we let them come over here, that's their right to go to the gym and wear bed sheets and smell like onions. You know? But who opened the door for them? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a question, right? Everybody has an answer. The liberals.
The Democrats.
The Democrats. And although I think that those people are probably some of the skeeziest people on earth, I got to tell you, it's not the correct answer.
Obviously, the correct answer is the bankers.
The banker. The elite.
The 1%.
The code words.
The wealthy. The rich.
But let's not. We're not going to talk about who it is. We're going to do that on the random files. And I was planning on having the random files rumble up today, but it didn't happen. I told Tony to tell Anthony yesterday, and it did not happen. So I got to go and we will get into the real random files. Now, there's going to be a distinction. Rumble is going to be where I put the real random files and all of that kind of stuff. Where we're going to talk about this and any questions regarding geopolitics, not any of them, but that will be answered on the real random files on Rumble. And that's where these last two episodes are going to be moved to. And then we're going to start doing shows on the random files that are it's going to be a little more tame. You know, I just showed you a little preview of what we're going to do, but that's going to be on the real Random Files on Rumble, where it gets real deep. We're going to be wading through the rubble on Rumble, and I'm going to knock your world on its side. You're going to see. I'm going to tell you the truth about it. I'll go deep. I have friends in a lot of places, dude, and I've been following things for a long time. I'm not just some jackball. A lot of these people commenting, they don't know what the hell's going on. You know why? Because they get their news sources from two places, CNN and Fox. Well, NBC.
Mm-hmm.
More shitty news network, right? MSNBC. You know, more shitty news bull crap. It's most shitty. They're liberal garbage is what that's hot garbage. And when they play it, you're like, oh man. Whitey bad. White supremacists are roaming the street. That's
billions of them.
Billions of them, just everywhere, burning
Swarms
crosses in a
boards.
yard near you. That's what they have on that. And then on the other side, it's like, you know, Muslim extremists are just they've taken over the Arby's. You can't even get a big Montana these days. They will just blow you. And you got some sick people out there. They're blowing us. No, they go bomb, blow them. Oh, never. I don't want that. No, I don't want that.
I don't want that kind of blow.
I don't want that.
Only two kinds of blow I want.
So you have these kinds of people that, and they just cannot get out of their own damn way. And so I'm gonna bring a guy on who is a super ultra conservative, and we're gonna talk, me and him. He's a wrestling promoter, friend of mine. We have a really good mutual friend. He's a Hispanic guy. He works security very closely. He works with the CPS, and he works closely with ICE and a few other, you know, and he does protection stuff. And so we're going to bring him on, and we're going to talk to him. He's got an opposing view. He's on the right like me, but he's got an opposing view. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring him on the Random Files, and I'm going to see if I can show him the truth and see if he's receptive to it. And he's going to lay out his points. I'm going to lay out mine, and we're going to because we're friends. And I'm going to show everybody you don't have to believe like me to get, you know, you can be your own person. You can have your own beliefs. I don't care. The only thing I just don't want is if I post something on my particular Facebook or on YouTube, don't come on here attacking me. You know? Christian Arredondo. Yep. I'm not going to repost that because I don't want trouble with the YouTube, whatever. But yeah, I agree. But the thing is, how did we get there? That's a question for the real Random Files on Rumble, because I'm going to go hard in the paint. I'm going to show you how we got there. I'm going to show you. I know the truth. They can lie all they want. They can do whatever they want, but what's done in the dark will come to the light. And this show, I never started out on this show for it to be anything religious, political, anything like that. But at some point, you have to take a stand, and you have to do what you believe in. And if I don't do that, well, but I don't call me, don't come at me and call me liberal. I was more right than you could have ever possibly imagined. And I've been that way for a long, long time. And I wasn't trying to push it on anybody. But once you started throwing missiles at me because I said something that you didn't like, well, then tough shit. What you need to do is start a show and make it entertaining and get a huge audience and people will listen to you. And then you can start popping off and go, ha, 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 and everybody will listen to what you say. Oh, wait, you don't have the talent for that. Oh, okay, so fuck off. How about that? Because I don't care. Thank you for that donation, Paula King. Where have you been, Paula? Appreciate it. Because excuse my language. I'm sorry. I cuss. I get upset because I'm sick and tired of being getting attacked all day. People messaging me with all this propaganda. Don't send me your propaganda. Both ways, too. This is why you should support the people of Iran. They just need more money for bed sheets. Come on, man. Just for 10 cents a day, you can help little Akbar buy more bed sheets and smell like onions. No, thank you.
Those Egyptian cotton bed
And then there's the other side. Support these people who have all the money in the world and have taken all your money and are they're blowing up everything. They're now getting a small taste of their own medicine. Oh, let's feel bad. No. I'm a Christian. And I tell everybody the same thing. I am for Christ. Christ isn't involved in this war. You can lie and say he is, but he's not. And both sides are claiming the good guy. Neither one of these are good guys. Like I said. It's the bug people, the Watto people versus the Tuscan Raiders. I hope they both lose bad. Can't help it, man. I'm sorry. You know why? We need a crusade. We need another Spanish Inquisition. How about that? Nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition.
Surprise.
How about you convert or leave? How about that? How about you have nothing to do with our foreign policy? And when they get up and they start talking, you're like, oh, what? Whoa, ho. I don't see you. You're not a Christian. Why are you talking? Why are you being a part of this? I had somebody a couple days ago message me and said, you've just become an extreme Christian extremist. Become? That happened years ago. When I became Wolf, I became somebody different. Died like a saint. Right? Yeah, they killed me. I died like a saint, reborn a devil. Slept like a slave, woke up a rebel. How about that? You heard that? You're not going to change me. This world took from me my identity a long time ago and made me what I am now. Now, it's up to you to either let the world change you, and you can change back. I'm in the process over the last several years of changing back to what I once was. Because if you knew me years ago, you probably wouldn't like me, and I wouldn't like you, because I wasn't a nice person. I'd punch you in the face as soon as I look at you. I didn't care much for my fellow man, but God touched my heart. And it wasn't until the last few years when I really felt bad for all of my sins. It's a process. I'm not a sociopath, but I was hard, very hard, and I didn't care. And I don't now. That part I don't care about. You're not going to proselytize to me and convince me that what's in those files is okay. An orange man has a lot of explaining to do. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people just die hard on his side. I'm not. I am no way, dude. No way. Not after this bull crap. Not after this bull crap. He's afraid. He is. I don't blame him. But don't play tough and then go, oh, now we're going to go whatever these other foreign entity tells us to do. We are being told what to do by a foreign entity. That is my problem, folks. And if you don't want to believe it, don't believe it. We go to the random files. Go check it out. You'll see. Somebody post a link to the random files. We will talk about that on the random files. We will get down to business. And I got other projects we're going to be doing on the random files involving history, mythology. I have picked a co-host. Her name is Anna Choate. And we will be doing once a week with her. She will be just like Richard is my co-host on Mondays for Paranormal Roundtable. We may stop doing Mondays or Wednesdays, possibly. I'm going to be phasing maybe some of these shows out. We're not getting enough listeners to justify it. So I'm just going to be moving into another phase. Paranormal Roundtable is never going to take a back seat. It's always going to be front and center. It's my main, project. But people are running away because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth. So run. I'd rather have quality over quantity. I've said that before. Mm-hmm. And sorry if you're offended. Actually, I am not sorry at all. I would like to take this time, though, to apologize to absolutely no one. As Conor McGregor said. To absolutely no one. I don't apologize to anyone I've offended. In fact, I hope you were offended, and I hope you go and report me to whatever agency, and you can take that report also, and you can shove it up your butthole too. That you can do that along with it. You're never going to stop me because they are now actively trying to shut us down and make us be, under the thumb. You can't say anything. Don't offend anybody. You can offend white people. That's it. That's all. That's the categories you can offend: white, Christian, heterosexual males. The second category is just regular heterosexual males. If you're a Christian, you can stomp all over them. It's getting to the point now to where it's like, there's really, people are starting to see there's two classes of people. There's the elites, the code word, right? And then us, the cattle. Once you wake up to that reality, it all makes sense. And then you stop with this silliness. It's really childish, dude, the left-right paradigm. Now, some people will throw that out there. I'm not down with the left-right paradigm, and immediately they start espousing some borderline communistic psychotic shit. Shut up, you anarchist, liar, shithead, liar. You're not, and they say, I'm an anarchist. Well, you're really just communist. I'm not down with your bullshit either. I'll fight you to the death. I'm never going to be okay with communism. Never, ever, ever, never, ever. Okay? Just another symptom of what these evil turds have brought to our society. But it's gonna happen. We're gonna be moving into another phase, and I'm gonna teach a lot of people a lot of things. If you don't want to learn, don't learn. Because some people are like, I support the troops. That's what they're doing, literally covering their ears. Well, I guess I'm not going to be going into his chat anymore, SpongeBob. I'm dumb as a box of rocks.
More work is done here.
He's committed to telling the truth. F that. So yeah, if you want to watch CNN and every corner has a mass of skinheads ready to eat your medication, and then Fox is over there telling him that the Islamic robots are coming to eat their medication. Dude, they're like, Billy, look at what's happening, Billy. It's terrible. Grandpa, it's okay. Those are all propaganda. See, I had a friend of mine from China, and she was talking about this. She's a doctor in Atlanta. Actually, I did her story. Her mother's story. She was abducted by these fae. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. What's crazy is that she told me, she goes, what's crazy is that in China, you know better than to nobody watches the news and believes it. It's just state-sponsored lies. She's like, but over here, people watch it and actually believe the news. She's like, it's shocking. And, and I'll be honest, when I was a kid, I was into the evangelical movement. So I come back from Greece, and they tell me, those people are evil. They told you that we're under the spell of people who are not the chosen. The Skeksis or no, these little gelflings are like, who told you that? Who told you that the Skeksis were bad? And I'm like, the people over there. Oh, Euro trash. Come, child. Learn, re-educate. Yes. Give your money. And I'm just like, this is weird. I don't know if I believe this. How is this possible? They don't believe in Christ. Oh, that doesn't matter. They're going to be given a second chance, according to John Hagee and his friends. And then I'm going like, where in Scripture does it say that? Because it doesn't. Okay? And I'm having a really hard time with that. Don't ask, no questions. Just give faithfully. Got my ass spanked every day, asking questions. Notes to my parents. This kid is obstinate. This kid he doesn't have the Spirit in him. He doesn't have the Holy Spirit. He's asking a lot of questions. He's questioning things that we're teaching him. And then eventually my mother started to wise up, and she was like, you know what? I'm starting to question things. Yeah. But then they got her back on track, though. They got her, and then, but before she died, luckily, she was following the true Lord. Took a near-death experience for her to, figure it out. Because she had my sisters working on her the opposite way. Loving people. We just want your money. I mean, for you to be happy. That's all. That's all it is. He's crazy. He notices things that other people don't notice, and that makes people uncomfortable. Why do all the music industry, why does everybody in the music industry all look the same? Is it my fault that I thought Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, what was the other one? Christina Aguilera, and there was another one. I thought they were all the same person.
Stefani.
I thought they were all the same person. Is it my fault? Because I don't care about that shit. They make these people, and folks, we're waiting 300, we get people and we'll start cracking them. But you know what it is they make these people all look the same. Girl, I'm a good looking dude. That makes me a good artist. No, it doesn't. I say things like, ooh, baby, I love you, and you're the only one for me. Ooh. And the girls are like, yeah, yeah, boy band, yay. Until we graduate and then it's like, that's so last year. I'm into just, gangster rap. My dangling, 40-ounce pistol crack, yo. That's hip. That's in vogue now. That's in vogue. Then we got Lady Caca on there. That's what you do. That's what you do. You bring another blonde bimbo out every few years and bring a new one. Right? There's always a new one that comes out, and everybody kind of pushes the other people's music to the back burner. Then it comes out that they're satanic and that they've made sex videos and whatever. Well, what a shock. I would never have let my teenage daughter listen to booty pop if I thought it was bad. I didn't know there were sexual lyrics all in there and whatever. Thank goodness she's got a brand new job and OnlyFans. Now that she's all grown up and ready to be in the job market.
She started her own business.
Did you hear this? 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that? 30% of women between the age of 18 and 30 are doing OnlyFans. What in the hell is going on? And everybody's just like, I don't know. What's causing this, Billy? Fox News says it's Islamic terrorists. What is going on? I'm like, Pawpaw, look, Islamic terrorists suck ass. They wouldn't really be terrorists against us, but we get involved in everything that these other people want. So that's why we have all these problems.
What's all these Sri Lankan people coming here? And the Saudi Arabians.
And the Saudi Arabians are their best, but the Saudi Arabians are their best friend. See, Papa, you don't understand. That's their best friend. When did they become everybody's friend? When they got that money. We started buying all their oil. See, people don't understand that. Like, why are we buying all the oil from them? We don't need it. We do not. We got more oil in Texas than in Saudi Arabia. Don't let them lie to you. They say that they're lying. I live here. My family's in the oil industry. Don't try to tell me. We have Wolf Camp and the Gulf Shelf. We have more oil than the entire North American continent, dude. Make Venezuela look like a little bitch. But they ain't gonna tell you that. We got to hold on to our oil and go buy it from these other countries because they have non-aggression treaties with Iriel. I can't say the name because I'll be, that's what they're doing. And then everybody's just like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, wow. Because good thing God, Fox News is on top of it. But CNN and Fox News work together when it comes to them. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. And people believe this crap. They really believe it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the real Rumble on real reality on Rumble. We have to. The random files on Rumble. I promise you, we will get that going by tomorrow. We'll have it ready. And I'm going to drop it like it's hot, right? Like bombs over Baghdad. Everybody done forgot about Iraq. They're like, oh, wait, weren't we fighting Iraq? And then we're fighting Afghanistan, and we were fighting Lebanon, and we were fighting Syria, and now we're fighting. Have you not seen a pattern here? Like, is this a pattern? And then our countries are filling up with their refugees. That's a bonus for them. They're like, yes. Organ grinder. Get out of here. But not everybody's stupid. Some people see it. But don't trust everybody, because there's some people out there that are pumping all this anti-Ariel and they have their own agenda. I'm like, yeah, I see some of these names, Akbar. Oh, shut up, dude. You got your own agenda. I ain't down with you either. I'd like to slap the shit out of both of them. Yeah. And you're right. They are not refugees. They are invaders. Make no mistake. And then everybody's like, oh, ICE is horrible. ICE, baby. We got to get rid of ICE. ICE is the problem. Really? Because what are we going to do? Because the Biden administration dumped so many of them here. You know, the Biden clone opened the door and just let them flood in. It's unbelievable. They came here to be oppressed.
Of course.
They just came here to be oppressed and complain.
They're coming here in droves to have their rights taken away.
Man, I could get into it. I could, but we're going to do that on Rumble because I don't want to be demonetized and be attacked and whatever. So, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to take it to Rumble and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to get down to the bottom of it because there's got to be somebody's behind this, right? Somebody. We just can't figure out who.
It's a mystery of space and time.
We need the mystery machine to figure this one out.
Let's split up, gang.
Let's split up and see if we can. Let's see if we can go investigate. In the meantime, you can continue hating me because I don't give a shit. We're whatever. So we're here for Paranormal Roundtable. So here we got 315 in the chat. Let's get it going here. But anyway, like I said, join Random Files on YouTube. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff on YouTube. We're going to be doing it, and then we're going to be retelling encounters and all kinds of stuff here on this channel. Like always, Dead Zone Transmission, Nellie's show, that's blowing up. It's doing really well. Go check it out. She's got another episode she dropped. I've been checking them out. I like all of her shows. She's now learning how to make the animations. It's crazy.
It's really cool.
She is really good. She's learning. She's just teaching herself. She's an amazing, smart person. And then we have the other channel, True Crime Paranormal. Was out last night, True Crime Paranormal. And but don't let if you just here for Paranormal Roundtable, don't let my views of the real reality warp your facade of reality. If you love living in the cube, in the black cube of Saturn, that's fine. But if you wear it on your head or you run around it, you can actually leave. I don't need you here because you're not an ally. You're not my friend. Right? So I'm just going to say that right there is that's point blank. It's just front and center. I'm not even going to mix words with people, because here's where I'm at right here. Just so you know, here it is right here. See that? Means not welcome. That's what it means. And if you think I'm talking to you, I probably am. How about that? Me and my house, I serve the Lord. Me and my house, we serve Christ, right? Who is the Son of God. So I'm just going to lay that out there at the beginning of the show. I don't. If you're all confused about what then I understand. Just stick around. Maybe I can help you. But if you're one of those people who's got your mind made up and you want to be a pagan and you want to hate me and you want to be Islamic, Judaism, whatever it is you're spouting, I don't want to hear none of it. I don't want any of it. I don't want nothing of what you're selling. There's another place you can go. That's it for me. So I want quality over quantity. Now, if you want to learn and you're undecided and you want to learn about the real reality, and maybe you want to learn to be a brother or a sister in Christ, then I can help you. I will teach you. We will teach you together. The paratroopers are a unit. We're a high functioning unit. Some people say we're a cult. And they're proud of being a cult. And I'm in a cult. I'm glad. Good. We're in a cult for Christ. The real Christ. Not the make-believe. The one that they call whatever. No. Not down with all that. It's not happening. So thank you guys for showing up. Here we are. We're going to talk about this. And we got the people who want to learn and want to know and whatever. If you're confused about anything at all, go to the Random Files when I talk and ask questions, because when me and Anna start doing the show, we're going to do the show on YouTube and on Rumble. And she's going to be my co-host, and we're going to answer questions. I've never been a person that shied away from hard questions. When somebody sends me something in the chat and you ask me a hard question, I don't run away from it. Or if somebody says, hey, I didn't get my stuff. Do you see me hiding from them? I'll post it front and center. Tell me what's going on. How long has it been? What do we need to do to fix this? Never ask. Don't think you're asking questions. Don't throw me soft, little lobs. Dude, throw the hard ball. Ask the hard questions. If I see it, I'll answer it. If I have time, I'll answer it. I am not going to run away. People cannot say that about me. You can say a lot of things about me. He's abrasive. He's rude. He's arrogant. He's whatever, I'm confident. And if I can't figure it out, then we'll work together. We'll figure it out. Because I'm not going to leave you in the dark. I want you to know. I want you to learn. I wish every one of you would go start your own channel and blow up so we can, then everybody you taught would blow up and start more. And we just had tons and tons of information going out into the ether to teach people to learn, to see what these people are doing to us and how they're destroying us from within because we let them in. I'd say 3 major enemies of God right now. There's 3 of them. Communism and 2 other religions. They are against God. I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to convince me that they're not. I've seen them and know them by their works. And I know the scripture. Don't try to tell me because people are like, oh, yeah, it says we're going to all, but you know what? Because you're listening to preachers with the 501c. I'm not getting paid for that. I've only got 1 donation tonight. I may only get 1 donation tonight. Oh, well, what's more important to me is my soul and to know that when I die, I did the right thing. And I told you the right thing. That's what's more important to me than donations and whatever, or a bunch of subs. These people that say we bought subs, let me tell you something. We're going on 7 years. Next month, on my mother's birthday, it will be April 13th. She passed away in 2021. In April, it will be 7 years. 7 years. And we only have not even 47,000 people. If we were buying subs,
we'd be at over 100,000.
Don't you think we'd be cheating and have 100,000, 200,000 people? But guess what? We get bigger crowds than these people that have 500,000 subs. You can go buy all the subs you want. I don't give a shit. Go buy them from Subway. Go buy them from Quiznos. I don't give a buy subs. That don't make you anything. You can get you a little plaque because YouTube wasn't paying attention or whatever. Good for you. I don't need that plaque. What I need is to know I did the right thing. That's what I need. I want that. I want to know that when I'm asleep, I sleep good. Lady asked me the other day, how do you sleep at night? I said, I sleep like a baby. I sleep good as all. I have the most gooder sleep you ever imagine.
Right after I say my prayer, lady, that's how I sleep.
And I say my prayer that God protects us from the enemies and his enemies, because his enemies are my enemies. They need to be your enemies, but everybody's scared. They don't want to do it. I'll be right back.
Oh. And 338 people. Thank all of you for being here. In the meantime, also, if y'all wouldn't mind, make sure if you're not subscribed that you hit the subscribe button. But also, more importantly, if you hit the like button, that really helps to get us exposure with the algorithm. And there's this new thing on YouTube, by the way, that I just found out about, and I don't know like how much that helps, but apparently there's some button that's called hype this video. So if you click that, I don't know, we'll see what happens. And I don't think it costs anything to press the hype button. But yeah, try that. Whatever you can do to help us grow, to help us get this message out, and more importantly, to bring more people. I mean, so that more people can hear the message, can be on the same page, because there was a time not too long ago where there weren't a lot of us who believed the way we believed, who were saying the things we're saying. But now here we are. We're all in one place, and that's a blessing. God has brought us all together, and what we want is to bring this message and this information, this show, to as many people as possible. But we're going to do it the right way, not by buying subs, views, none of that nonsense. Do everything above board. So if you can hit the like button, the hype button, subscribe, it'd be great, because you want to surround yourself with like-minded people. You become who you associate with. So let's get more people in here to spread Spread the good word, the good news.
All right, folks. So here's the thing. We have to talk about this tonight. We had a woman that reached out to us. Her name was Tara. And she lived in Corpus Christi, Texas. And what she wanted to tell me was this is the thing. Her friend, who claims to be like all into the paranormal, she's into the paranormal, whatever. This is my deal, right? She wanted her to go on these other people's shows, and one of them was going to get her onto television. And she said, but only talk about the ghosts of the spiritual stuff. Don't talk about the dwarves. Yeah, the dwarves and that black dog thing. You know, don't talk about that. Don't talk. You know, and she was telling her this. And I'm not going to say her name. She's still friends with her, Alexis, but I'm not going to say her last name. All right. I'm sorry, I let it slip. Oh well. But you know, Alexis told her not to tell me. Alexis, you're full of shit. I'm gonna say that about you. How about that? I hope you're watching too. You're full of shit. Okay, you and your friend and your fake channels. I'm gonna say this, right? I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a damn. All right. I'm telling you what's real. I've had enough of all the bullshit. All right. Let's be honest. Here on this channel, we talk about everything. We talk about ghosts. We talk about alien abduction. We talk about Bigfoot. We talk about the nature of reality. And I'm gonna tone down the talking about the politics. No, we're not gonna even do that. That's gonna be on Random Files. That's what it's for. And it's gonna be on the Rumble. For the most part, the geopolitical stuff is gonna be on Rumble. The Random Files on Rumble. But so that's who's this Necronomicon? Hopefully this is no politics. I want to hear Dogman scary stuff. Okay. Well, you know what? Since you just want to tell me what to do, how about this Necronomicon? I don't like your thing anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and ban you, and that's it for you. Goodbye. Get off my channel. Don't watch. Get away. Go away. I hope you go and do whatever you're going to do with your life. Goodbye, Necronomicon.
Ain't nobody forcing you to be here, and nobody's forcing you to publicly complain.
Yeah.
I mean,
now, if Necronomicon wanted to ask a question, then I'd answer it. But he didn't ask a question. He just wants to come over here and complain, which we already know. This is probably the guy from Oklahoma who talks a lot of shit.
Crybaby.
Or he's just a crybaby. So goodbye. Goodbye. We don't need you. I hope everybody that thinks like him just leaves. All right, just go. Okay? Because I just said we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about that stuff on Random Files. That's what we're going to do. But the Random Files is going to be different. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff on the YouTube channel, right? And then we're going to get into some real stuff on the Rumble. So go to the Rumble one, and that's where you're going to find the geopolitics and all the hard stuff. So here's what I'm going to tell you. So this woman, this is interesting. This is why I chose this one tonight. I was going to do Meredith's story from San Antonio, the real estate agent. So I messaged her and said, "Hey, I'm not going to do yours tonight. I'm going to do it on Wednesday." But tonight, what I'm going to talk about is this person's encounters. And really, because her friend Alexis was trying to tell her not to talk about, just go on this ghost show and just talk about the one thing. But she says, you know what? I've had a lot of other things happen to me. And I think it's all connected. And her friend, who's all into the paranormal in the traditional sense, which these people, these goofballs, they believe that paranormal is ghosts. They've let themselves be fooled into this shit. Can you believe that? Here's the thing about that. We here at Paranormal Roundtable, right? We know better. We know that it's all connected. There'll be a cryptid conference, and if you mention ghosts, they're all like, "Oh my gosh!" And it's all a bunch of hillbillies in camouflage. Oh man, what's he talking about? Dumb as shit. The dumbest, ugliest people you ever imagined putting on these conferences, these Bigfoot conferences. Get the F out of here. And if they do a ghost conference or a paranormal conference, they call it, it's got to be just it's got to be ghosts. It's got to be ghostesses. That's it. That's all it's got to be. They could learn something from our conference. We did our conference, 670 people or 600. Because the other day I was corrected. Tony says, no, it was 650 or 670 people that showed up, that walked through those doors. And we talked about ghosts, alien abduction, Bigfoot, dogman. Everybody calls it a dogman conference, and that's fine. But this is the real reality, is that these things are all connected. A lot of people who have alien abduction experiences, or they have experiences with Bigfoot will see other things too. 90% of them will. So why do you need to go to 10 different places to get the information when you could just go here and it's all here? Everybody wants to hear about this because this is where the real reality is, right? You know me. I put myself out there. I put my head on the chopping block. I don't give a shit. Let the chips fall where they may. I'm going to tell you the real reality. So I told Tara, I said, what do you think? What do you think? She goes, I think I need to tell somebody who's receptive to the whole story. I don't want to chop it up into 4 parts. So she was going to tell her black dog story on some dogman channel, right? And I told her, you can do that if you. She goes, I didn't. Anthony can attest it. I didn't tell her not to.
Yeah.
I said, go ahead. I said, but I'm going to take everything you got and I'm going to tell the whole story. And she's like, oh, that's good. That's good. I want that. I said, yeah, because it's all connected. Why would I just take pieces of it and that, because you're going to go to a dogman show and tell stuff about the black dog, and then you're going to go to another show and talk about all, and then another show and talk about why. How are the people in the paranormal, the ghost community, how are they going to how do they know what the reality? They don't know, because the ghost part that they wanted was just that she saw some elf-like creatures in the backyard and that they disappeared, and that there was a spirit that she saw in her house. And then you don't even know what the rest of it is.
I don't know how it's connected to anything.
You see my point to this? So here's what happened. She was near Robstown. It's a town outside of her family lives near Robstown, right? She's living in Corpus. She moved to Corpus. Robstown's a little small town. It's like Mathis. If you look at a map, you want to pull the map up?
Sure.
I guess we can pull the map up.
Let's pull it up.
I'll show you on the map. This is what we do. We use the maps on Tuesdays on the Patreon for the Bigfoot and the Nature of Reality. And we use the maps. I'm going to show you. If there was ever a time for people to stand up and start being counted and start saying what's really going on and start speaking out, this is it. And I'm just, I'm fed up. I'm tired of this shying away from the truth, and we're running away from the reality. You either stand up, put up, or shut up, man. That's how I look at it. So let's go here. Can y'all see? I'm going to take it out here a little bit. Canyon Lake. Now, I did some dogman stuff around Canyon Lake. We talked about this area. And just so you know, here it is right here. I'll show you. There's San Antonio right there. And to the north, there's San Marcos. Real quick here. I'm just going to show you something. This right here is Devil's Backbone right here. You've heard about it. Ranch Road 12 right there. See it? You see my mouse going across it? That goes into Wimberley. But that is that Ranch Road 12 right there, that road. So just so you know, that's what that is. Yeah, this whole area right up in here. All of this area, dude, it gets real weird up in this area. We'll talk about that on another day. I just wanted to show you that so you know what I'm talking about. When I talk about the Devil's Backbone, now you know what it is. But anyway, and then here's green. All this area over in here, just really haunted, weird stuff. Haunted with all kinds of stuff. spirits, dogman, Bigfoot, a lot of stories out of that area. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. Let's go south. So, right here, this is Corpus Christi. This is Port Aransas. We've talked about Port Aransas. I got friends that live there. I know several people that live there, and it's a pretty resort town, real busy in the summertime and in late spring and early fall even. And this is Corpus Christi. You probably all heard of Corpus Christi, right? But over here is Mathis. Let's see if we can find Robstown. Where is Robstown at? Robstown's a small little thing. It's not itty bitty, but it's not huge either. Let me type it in. Oh, there it is. Now we can move out a little bit. Whoop. Whoop. So here's Corpus Christi. She's got family over here, right around in this area over here by this lake. And then here is Robstown. So you got Violet, Benquet, and then Robstown. So her story happens right around in here. She was living with her family. Let me get back out. So she was living with her family in near Robstown. Not in Robstown, but kind of out in the country, And then, so it's kind of like, as you saw on the map, like northwest of Corpus Christi. And yeah, she lives in Corpus now. But the area where she was staying at, this area was, one time this belonged to natives. It belonged to different people. A lot of different things have happened there. There were Franciscan monks in that area. There were all kinds of stuff. And in fact, there was a Civil War battle that took place in Corpus Christi because there was a port, right? And so they fought. And these monks, these Irish monks, literally defended against the Union. There's a whole story about it. It's pretty interesting. But she, what happened with her, when she was 14 years old, she started having weird experiences in that place where she was living. She had two older siblings. The older sisters, they had already had all kinds of weird stuff happen to them. They moved the hell out. And she was born later in life. She's one of those kids. It was kind of like, oops, you're born. She was 14. Her older sister was 20, the middle one. The other one was 22. You're talking about a huge age, not huge, but, 22 to 14, that's 8 years. The other one was 6 years. So she was like, she didn't have any other siblings. There were 3 sisters. That was it. And she ultimately later on, subsequently, she ended up having a stepbrother and a stepsister, another one, because her dad got remarried. But at this time, her mom and dad were together. In 2 years, they would be divorced. And when she was 16, and that's and she's 36 now. But this started when she was 14 years old, right? So when she was 14 years old, you're talking about 22 years ago. Yeah. She was just a kid when this all started. And when you sit back and you look at these encounters and you go, wow, dude, what do we know now as opposed to what we knew back then? Quite a bit. Now, there were tons of ghost shows and all kinds of different stuff on TV and the internet. It was all over the place. But what do we know now that we didn't know then? PRT wasn't around. For one thing, it wasn't people telling you, hey, this is all connected. There were people that were into UFOs, people that were into cryptids, and then there were people that were into ghosts. There were 2 places that I remember that you could get all of it. Coast to Coast was one of them, and the other one was Fate Magazine. Anybody ever read Fate Magazine? But for the most part, the internet was divided. If you weren't Art Bell or George Norrie or Phyllis Galdi from Fate Magazine, well, you were probably into just one of these things. And God forbid if you should cross over. When she was 14 years old, she was living on this property. She says, we had moved there when I was 13. She's like, but when I was 14 is when it really started. So here's what happened. Her sisters were there for a year. They both left. They were like, to hell with this. But she says it was more focused on my older sister, the oldest one. She's like, but once she left, it was like, then it went after my middle sister for like, 6 months. My middle sister dealt with it, and then she left. I was 14, almost 15. So it was almost 2 years. She moved here like a few days after her 30th birthday. She said, but that property, ranch style house, out in the middle of nowhere, she said it had some really, really bad problems. Not the least of which was the plumbing didn't work right. She said it was horrible. My dad had this pipe dream about, building a ranch and all this other stuff. He didn't know the first thing about anything, and he had no help. And he wanted us girls to do it. And my mom was constantly griping. She was a very gripey person, always complaining. Look what you did. You brought us out here in the middle of nowhere. The thing's sewage is backed up, whatever. The septic doesn't work right, blah, blah, blah. And she said, and then on top of it, she goes, it was extremely haunted. But it wasn't just haunted. There was other stuff going on there. She said one of her friends, when she got a little older, when she was 16, she said it got really bad. It got really bad. Her parents divorced, and her dad, she stayed there with her dad because her mother had slipped off into madness, according to her, like drinking and doing drugs, and moved to Corpus and began to do some things that, well, doing bad things. And it really hurt her dad. Her dad was just stunned by this. She goes, my mother was already gripey, kind of aggravated person, but she did a 180. She wouldn't say a 360. She did a 180. And it was like completely different from going to church and being a God-fearing person to a prostitute, in a couple of years. And I said, what do you think caused it? I asked her, even though I kind of knew the answer, I said, what do you think caused this? She says, well, a part of it, my parents having a bad relationship. She goes, but the property was cursed. I said, and you assume this, or you were told? She goes, I was assuming and I told this. She said, my middle sister, she came back with her friend Diane. Her sister's name was Diane. Sorry. Diane came back with her friend. And they walked the property, and guess what she found? She goes, you have fairy mounds around this property. And her friend, this is, a lot older than her, she's like 20 years old, whatever. She says, how long have you lived here? And she says, this and that, a year and a half, whatever. She says, you need to leave this place. She goes, well, I got nowhere to go. She's like, one sister's living with her boyfriend / fiance. The other one's got this girl as her roommate. There's nowhere to go. She's getting no room. Can I stay with y'all? Well, no, we already have somebody sleeping on the couch. Eventually, she would move out. And when she was 18, she moved out to go and live with her middle sister and her boyfriend. Older sister got married, moved to San Antonio. Now they live here in Austin. This is where a lot of the work is, right? Well, here's the problem. She's all alone. There's nobody around. She goes, it started quickly. She goes, the day Diane moved out, like that day, she's like, I saw something that Diane had been seeing, and I had only caught glimpses of, and it looked like the Grim Reaper. She said there was this thing that would walk down the hallway, and it was all in black. And I was like, I asked, of course, people have said this before, Anthony, you know that. And we always ask the same question, like, did it have a scythe, She said, no, it just looked like the Grim Reaper. You could see like a skeletal face, but with like rotting flesh on it. And she goes, and it gave off this pungent smell. It was bad. Smelled like sewage and rotting flesh. She's like, but we did oftentimes have plumbing problems. So when I first smelled it, I thought, oh, the septic is messed up, whatever. I'm telling my dad when he gets home from work. She's like, I'm going to school. I'm trying to do what I got to do. And here's this entity walking down the hallway. She goes, and I'm there. I'm on my computer. She goes, and I look over in my room and I see it just float by my door. She goes, I'm by myself, and my dog Ajax is there. and he's growling and freaking out. He's a pit mix. She goes, her exact words, he's a fireball. He's a tough dog. She goes, and I had another dog who was just, just whatever. He was,
He was there.
he was a little Cocker Spaniel. Actually, it was a she. It was a female dog. It's just my little female dog. She's like running under my feet, peeing on the floor. She's like, and I didn't know what to do. She goes, this is my first real encounter. Like, I had some weird dreams. This stuff was attacking my sisters. And my mom, she was already starting to like go into town all the time and be gone for hours and drinking at bars and stuff. She was already cheating on my dad. And she got with this guy and he gave her drugs and she hid it for a while. And then she just flat out didn't come back. And then the guy came out there and got her stuff and pulled a gun on my dad. It was bad. It was rough. Thank you for that donation. And so she had this whole thing going on, right? Her mom had another life. She was like, I'm 15, years old at this point. She's like, and I didn't know what to do. Thank you for that donation for both of you. I appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated here. We need the help. But here's what happened. She said, that was my initiation into this. She goes, and that was just the beginning. And I ended up talking to her for like 2 hours. Like, this was crazy the first time we talked. And then she got me, and I went and talked to some of the other supporting cast, like her sister Diane. Now, I didn't talk to the older sister. I didn't talk to her. And then I talked to her boyfriend, who, they ended up foolishly, when the dad put the place up for sale, he couldn't sell it, and he wanted to move out. So for 6 months, when she was 19, or she was 19, almost 20, I guess. It's closer to 20, she said. But 19, they moved back in there for 6 months, her and her boyfriend. And I said, what did he think of it? She said, Brad he hated it, every minute of it. It was terrifying. That's a whole nother thing, because I got into it with him about how, we got his stories, And Brad's a really cool guy, down-to-earth guy. Has a pretty decent job there down in the valley now. They're living down in the valley, and it just got worse. But before all that happened, this was the beginning. She said, for me, the only other thing I'd ever seen was what looked like a woman standing in our backyard. She goes, this was when I was 14. We just moved in when I was 13. So this is when I was 14, about a year later. And I didn't know what the big deal was. None of my siblings were really telling me ever, because my parents were like, don't tell her, it's going to make her whatever, She goes, and there was a huge age difference between my dad and my mom. He was 9 years older than my mom. And my mother was really pretty. My dad had money when he moved in, and he spent all of it on this venture that didn't work out. And then when he started going broke, she was like, well, see ya, and bailed. And he goes, and the crazy thing, she goes, my dad was elderly by the time I was in my 20s. He was older. He was a lot older, And she was just like, I had to take care of him, but then he was real independent minded, and he wanted to live in town on his own. And then he passed away. She goes, when I was like 24. So it was very sad. He didn't live to see her grow up, because he was already, he was in his late 40s when he had her. So, let's do the math.
It's pretty late in life.
Yeah, it's pretty late in life. Yeah. Our mother, I guess it would have been it wasn't late 40s. I think it was like mid to late 40s, whatever. And her mother was like I said, almost 10 years younger. And she just, as soon as these kids were older, she took off. She goes, my mother was in her 50s, and she looked like she was in her 30s. She was very pretty, very beautiful woman. And I was like, do you talk to her? She goes, no, I don't talk to her. We don't speak. It's a sad thing. Mom's still alive. She's very old now, but she's still alive. But we don't talk. It's one of those things. But she said that this house, this property, she goes, when my sister came with her friend and we walked the property, she goes, you have 3 fairy mounds on this property and a triangle around this property. And she's like, I don't know what is a fairy mound? She goes, these are the home of the fae. Mm-hmm. Her friend studied Celtic history. She was half Hispanic, half white. Her dad was white, her mother was Hispanic. Her dad was second generation Irish. His dad was from Ireland. So she had been to the Emerald Isle a few times, and she had had her own experiences with the Fae, where they actually were throwing rocks at her. See, because I think sometimes when people say, well, the Bigfoot or the dogman threw rocks at me, how do you know that that's what it was? Because we have stories of these things changing into those beings. So do you know that that's what it was? Because it could have been the Fae. The Fae love to do that, especially the really bad ones. And here's the thing. While they were walking the property, something threw rocks at them. Whizzing by their head. She said they were zipping like, they sound like bullets. She's like, if one of those would have hit us, probably would have killed us. And then I realized, my sister's friend says, you knocked over one of these mounds. I don't know if it's when we were walking the property or maybe you did it previously. And she goes, well, because she had a dirt bike. You know, her dad gave her things. She had a pony and a dirt bike. She goes, my dad tried to spoil me, to try to keep me, you know. She goes, I knew I was spoiled. It wasn't even an issue. But I hated living. It was a nightmare. You're like a poor little rich kid. You have all these toys and stuff, but you have nobody to play with. And your only company at this point now is your 2 dogs, a cat, your bird. She had a bird. And then she had the demons. I mean, for lack of a better term, let's call it what it is. And she said, I'm there, and there is this thing walking down the hallway. She's like, that's the first thing I saw. But then she goes, one day I was on the toilet. I was using the bathroom. She was just very honest. She was very honest. And she says, you know, and she's like, should I tell him? And her boyfriend's like, well, everybody uses the bathroom. Just tell him, you know. She said, I was using the bathroom. She's like, and this entity, whatever, something was opening the door, messing with the door handle. So I was there by myself. My mom was at work. My dad was at work. And yeah. And she goes, I felt like I was going to die. I heard grunting and growling. She's like, and I had gotten to the point at this point where I was so scared because I was having all these weird nightmares that I had both of my dogs in the bathroom with me at my feet. She goes, I couldn't even go take a pee without my dogs. I was terrified. Still, again, she was in the shower. We hear this, things that love to mess with you in the shower. We hear this. She's in the shower and something reaches in and scratches her back. And she turns and she sees these fingers going away from it. Ugh, black. Now, if you're scary easy, and this is, you know, you're a person that's a scary person, like, oh no, I don't want to hear all the, you got to get out of here because it's pretty intense and it gets really scary. So she tells her sister's friend, this is what led to her telling her sisters like, hey, we got this woman. I think her name is Abby or something like that, but I could be wrong. I think it's Abby. But she says, we'll call her that for the sake of the story. I might be wrong. I have to correct myself on the next edition of this because this is going to be more than just this episode here. But she said, you know, Diane and Abby, Diane being her older sister, she said they came over and my cousin Florine was there too. She's like, and Florine is like, she's Hispanic and black. It's her cousin. Her cousin's one of those people is like, oh, hell no, I'm not getting into this. No, you know, like she's very... I'm not going and walking the grounds with no devil people or whatever little devil people. Because she said, what do they look like? She told Florine, she says, well, the ones that we've seen around here have horns. That doesn't, you know, conjure up the images of the nice little elves that work for Santa.
Yeah.
Maybe they work for Krampus. Maybe that's where they're at.
Yeah.
They're over there in Corpus Christi. Working for Krampus.
Little mini Krampuses.
Little mini Krampuses. And I apologize. This chair is just, it's old. Sorry, folks. It's just, I hear all the noise it's making. I don't know how we can correct that right now. But we'll definitely get it done by next episode. So here's what happened. This cousin of hers, she says, yeah, she stayed at the house. Then we hear the door slam and we look back at the house about 60 yards away. And my cousin Florine is a big girl. But she's running towards us full sprint. And the dogs, they're with us. She gets to us and she says, there's a black dog in the house. It looks like it's a black dog. It looks like a damn werewolf. I'm not even joking. She goes, really? Diane says, really? You've seen it? So apparently Diane has seen this before. And get this, Diane's story, and I did speak to her briefly. I only got 2 things from her. One about the garage and then this story. But get this. She says when they first moved in, it was harassing their older sister. Once it, but she was seeing stuff too. But it was really after the older sister, and then it went to her. Unbeknownst to her, the older sister had initiated contact with these things.
What?
Yeah, because apparently she had seen little people about 1.5 feet tall, looked like they were playing catch with something, like what looked like a pine cone or something, and they were throwing it around out in the yard. And her older sister's sitting there reading a book, and she puts the book down and says, what is that? She's like, senior in high school. This is her older sister. She doesn't know. So she goes out there and she sits down and she squats down and she has a phone, camera, whatever, the primitive versions, they weren't real good back then. But she was trying to take a picture of this thing. And she said it didn't come out. It was just real blurry. And one of these things hissed at her. And get this, threw a dog turd at her. Sounds funny. Sounds cute, right? That's not.
That one little thing.
Yeah, it's not cute. Because that's what they do. Mean little bastards. So she gets up, she's like, whoa. And then they're gone. And she's like, and then she started thinking about it. She's like, well, did I imagine that? And admittedly, she said that she was toking the devil's lettuce back then, her sister. So later on, her sister's like, well, because she said that it seemed like her boyfriend was kind of convincing her that it was all bullshit, right? And then she said, well, maybe I was just because I was smoking, maybe I hallucinated it. But then Diane was like, no, you didn't. She goes, because when I saw the black dog, I went out to the back. We had these big storage buildings. There were 2 of them. And then there was this hangar, and then there was a barn and some others. It was a big property. And she says, I go out to the back. She goes, and there is this, I don't know. She goes, I don't know what it was. It was a black wolf-like thing. It never stood up. It was on all 4s. And it was coming from the storage shed. She goes, I'm walking out there with some fertilizer, the spray, that whatever. And she says, and I'm helping my dad. And by her own admission, Diane was always kind of a tomboy. She says, I was always like a boy, because my sisters were, they could be girls. So I had to be the boy to help my dad. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. So she says, I kind of had to be, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
There we go. So she says, I kind of had to be the boy. She said it sucked, but somebody had to do it. She says, my older sister was very a girly girl, right? So I didn't have the problem with it. I said, fine, I'll help my dad do whatever. She goes, my grandparents had a ranch down in South Texas, and I learned how to shoe horses. I had a horse ranch. She's like, I know how to do everything. And my dad had dreams of this, but he was way later in life. And I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue your dreams later in life, but I don't think that when you're like in your late 50s is the time to go and say, oh, you know what? Now I'm going to start trying to, especially when you're sort of a sedentary person, like he was, and wasn't in the best of health. He was diabetic. And so, there were some issues, and she had to do a lot, right? Just put it that way. She's walking to the shed, and she looks up, and her dog is growling. She had her own dog named Gator, and he started growling like crazy. And she was like, what is that? She goes, and my dog wasn't no punk. He was a Mastiff mix. What do you call it? A Boston, not a Boston, a boxer Mastiff mix. But he looked more massive. He was really big. She's like, and he was growling like crazy. And here comes this black wolf-like thing, just slinked around the corner real fast. She goes, at first I thought it was a border collie. And then I thought about it, and I was like, that is the biggest border collie in the world. And she says, no other explanation other than it was a wolf. She goes, but it had this blocky, squared looking head. And she goes, I didn't see it the first time. She's like, the first time I just saw it slink around the corner and then take off toward the hangar. And she's like, great. What the hell was that? So she just literally drops the canister. Her dog growls and starts to go toward it. And she's like, and we had him fitted with the spike collars that he was, but we were like, she's like, come back. I don't know what that is. So she runs back to the house and she grabs a gun. She's like, I had a 12 gauge. My dad taught me how to shoot. I knew how to shoot. My dad wasn't there at that time. He was working in town. He was still trying to make money to put into the ranch. And then she goes, and here comes my older sister and her boyfriend. And he's a goofy ass. I can say this. Diane doesn't really like her older sister's boyfriend, and neither does Tara. Okay, I could just say that. Or Tara, as we call her. But Tara was not a fan, all right, of this guy. And so she goes and gets her older sister, says, hey, there's like a wolf or something out there. And her boyfriend's always like the same, the same, what do you call it? Gosh dang, can't think. When you have your face expression, sorry, trying to think of the word. Same expression, like, okay, because he's over there trying to make out with her on the couch, And by the way, he's like 3 years older than her, And, at that age, it's not really that big a deal. But when she's still a teenager, yeah, 3 years is not that big a deal once you're all in your 20s and 30s. But when somebody's like 17, and you're 20, there's a difference there, right? So it's like that kid that, in high school didn't have girlfriends or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, I'm going to get that senior chick now that I'm 40. He's not that old, but he was that way, right? He was just, they didn't like him. Plus, I guess later on he cheated on her or whatever. So, yeah, you're a piece of crap, dude, whatever. And I don't care. I don't care if you hear this. F you, what are you going to do? But anyways, the dude ends up like going out with them and acting all brave and stuff. And he's carrying his gun. He's got a gun. He's like, I'm gonna come with you because I'm a strong man and I'm tough. And you little girls are gonna be blah, blah, blah. And then they get to the barn and there this thing is on its hind legs. It's not a dogman. Let's put it that way. It was black, but it was on its hind legs. And right there next to it was this little creature holding like what looked like a metal rod with a little cap on its head. And it was just staring at him and had big old eyes. And this black thing was like, this black dog was pushing a latch open to where one of their horses were. They had 3 horses. This guy sees this and he goes, oh, shit. He drops his gun and runs like the little scaredy ass that he is. Another thing I don't like about him either is that he's basically a communist. So let's put it that way. I'll leave it at that. That's all I need to know.
Useless person.
But as you can see, and then she's like, Diane was laughing. She goes, it was terrifying. But she goes, the funny part of that is, she's like, his gun wasn't even loaded.
Wow.
He didn't even know how to use it. He goes out to his grandfather's truck and grabs a rifle that he doesn't even know how to use.
Could have been a pellet gun.
Well, it wasn't, but still, what are you doing with a gun if you don't know how to use the damn thing, idiot? Anyways, but hey, if there's ever a civil war, they're going to kick our ass, right? Right. I've seen videos of them holding the guns upside down and all kinds of crap, moving them around, pointing them at each other. Yeah, y'all are very organized. I'm terrified. I hope this never happens.
Watch out for them gravy seals.
So this dude, this was a little skinny dude. So yeah, it always seems like either really fat people or really skinny people.
Yeah.
But this dude, he runs, right? He's terrified. And he goes back to the house. And then her and her sister are sitting there looking at this thing. Her sister sees him run, scope on backwards. Exactly, Jordan. So he takes off running. She runs too. She goes, she leaves me there. She's like, and I'm going to be honest. She's like, I'm not trying to brag. I'm not a badass. And then when she says that, her sister's there, and Tara's like, yeah, you are. She's like, you are. Compared to everybody else, you are. She's like, well, yeah, compared to Weenie Todd Jr. over there. Those were her words. And I was like, I love that. I loved saying that.
Yeah.
I really like Diane. She's cool, man. I was like, you're cool. You're like me. He's Weenie Todd Jr. That's what he did. He's like, he ran. Him and Patrick, they run. So what does she do? She goes, I leveled this gun and I fired. And this thing did the weirdest thing ever, Wolf. She tells me, she's like, this thing turned itself like sideways into a U, like real quick, like rubber, and then bounced back and then took off. Ran under the fence and was gone. Ran under the wooden fence from the other side, the door. I said, what happened to the little creature, the little diablito, you know, or monitos? Monito is like a little man, but diablito is like a little devil, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's interchangeable. But she said that thing was still there. And it was looking at me and it was like gritting its teeth. And she goes, it's like, eh. She goes, and I might have been scared, but it was so small. She's like, it was so small that it almost looked cute. She goes, but I aimed it at this little sucker. And when I pointed the gun at it, it spoke. She's like, I had been dreaming of these things, but I hadn't really seen one in like open, you know, like in open reality. And she said, it was like, it spoke in some weird language. And it was like, like, you know, like weird. And then she goes, it showed its teeth, like it gritted it, like it was mad, you know? And it had this little metal rod and it threw it at me. She's like, and I just moved and I looked and I don't know where it went. I don't know if it went into the grass behind me. She's like, and I looked back and it was gone. But there was a little dust trail. Yeah. She's like, so I told my dad when he came home. And my dad was like, well, don't tell Tara. I don't want her knowing. I don't want Tara knowing that this is, you know, what's going on over here. But he's like, yeah, I've seen him too. You heard that?
Yep.
What was that? So this is what happened, right? Her dad gets freaked out and starts telling her, look, every day he gets increasingly more paranoid. He says, I think maybe I did something. Now they're at the breakfast table. Once again, their mother is gone. She's running the streets. And apparently, now this is also this is the two older daughters. This is, I guess, their stepmother. That was their stepmother. So I just got told that. I didn't realize that. I thought that they were all from the same. So thank you for that. So I just got messages about it. I mean, okay. So that was Tara's mother. Okay. So now we know. But this was the stepmom of these two. And they didn't like her. She didn't like them. And she said that the stepmother told the dad that, and this is what happened. They were driving up this long driveway to go to this place, you know, where they were at. And the driveway was really long. And they saw something run across the road, chasing what looked like a road runner. And they ran them both over. That could have been the problem. And when they stopped the car, they only saw the roadrunner, but they saw a little red cap. Funny thing is, I guess what I know now, I didn't know at the time, but this stepmother thought it was like Papa Smurf's little hat and thought it was cute and said, oh, what was that? Did we run it over? And then made jokes about it. When stuff started happening to her husband, like bad dreams and whatever, she convinced him to go to a quote-unquote curandera.
Oh.
Explain to the audience what that is, Anthony.
The curandera is like it's like a Mexican version of a white witch or like a shaman. Curandera is supposed to be like a healing lady, but the difference between there's a curandera in Mexican folklore, and then there's a bruja who was an evil witch. But I advise to just stay away from curanderas because they're one bad mood away or one insult away from being a bruja. So it's just just stay away from it all.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with Christ and nothing else.
Yes. When they tell me that, I'm just like, nothing. I want nothing.
Yeah.
Walk away.
I'm good, man.
So this supposed curandera, they go there. She gives him a rattlesnake's skin with the skin of a rattlesnake with the tail on it and everything, and tells him that it's dried up and shriveled up, that he needs to take it home, grind it up, and drink it with some mushrooms. Are you crazy, bitch? What the, you know, what do you want?
Wow.
Smoking crack? They take her to the crackhead witch. She's like, yeah, you know what you do? Yeah, skin this rattlesnake over here. Then she just sits there and looks at you for a couple minutes, all uncomfortable, like, is that all? I already told you what to do. Like, no, you didn't. You probably thought it, but you're not. Are you getting crazy with me? I say, oh no, please. Stay good, witch. Because if I piss you off, you're gonna hurl curses at me and shit. Because you ain't got Christ on you. I know that.
I'll buy some of your Herbalife supplements. Just calm down. Just calm down.
Herbalife.
Yeah.
Drink this shake. That's $19.99. Turn the nines upside down. Yeah, let's do that. Right? Let's do that. This is how they act too. I mean, I've been around some of them, and they're just like
Moody,
they're just like skeezy, weird, and offering to throw curses and stuff. But then, you know, next thing you know, they're trying to, you know, make your dingling fall off or something. Who knows? I've had friends that have dated these people too. Well, that's dumb. I don't want to get into it. But one of my friends, Ricky, did that. He learned the hard way. She took his hair while he was asleep. Yeah, that's the kind of things they do.
Hair, nail clippings.
So, anyways, he goes to this Curandera, and this was Tara just making jokes. She's pretty funny. Her and her sisters made me laugh. But it was funny. They were talking. Her boyfriend was like, yeah, tell him about the smoothie. He wanted he goes, he says, honey, I had to go to this witch doctor. And his wife, Tara's mom, she's like, don't call her that. She don't like to be called that. I'm sure she doesn't. She doesn't want people knowing that she's a witch, that she's an evil witch. She wants people to think that she's she's Glinda, whatever, the good witch. So anyways, he says, I need some blueberries and some cherries, you know, to try to make it taste better. So they threw yogurt into it. They made a smoothie and they blended up this concoction, some kind of green sauce, probably made from avocados or something. I'm not real sure. And then the rattlesnake, yeah, with just a little dropper of the venom. Yeah. As long as you get it right, your blood's not going to coagulate and split your arteries and cause you, because it's a phytotoxin, and cause you to flop around on the floor like a fish.
50% of the time, works every time.
Exactly.
What could go wrong?
So this is what happens, right? He makes this shake with some berries and some nuts or whatever. I don't know what else. Soylent. Exactly. He puts some elite adrenochrome powder. I'm joking. I'm kidding. But he makes the shake and then he drinks and he gets really sick. No surprise, he gets sick as shit and he throws up, right? Excuse my language. And then all kinds of stuff happens. He starts hallucinating because it's mushrooms. You know, magic mushrooms. Because it's really a poison, is what it is. And your body's reacting to it. So then he gets really sick. And then his wife is laughing and thinks it's cute and takes him to town and drops him off at his friend's house and then takes off with his truck. This is Tara's mom, who I now know is not the mother of the other two. I didn't know that before. Maybe they told me. I don't know. But anyway, the point is that Tara's mom is a real POS. Then the curandera, because he gets upset, okay, Diane, the middle daughter, decides to call the police on this woman. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea, or it was the older sister, sorry. She decides to call the police on this woman. Now, is that a good idea? I don't know. But the police go to her house, then she's mad, and then the claws come out. For the next 3 weeks, they hear a hooting owl outside of their bedroom windows. Why is that, Anthony?
Because that's their familiar. They use owls to spy on people. It's one of the things they do. Or sometimes it's them because they're lechuzas, which is a shape, which is a bruja who shapeshifts into this owl type creature, and you'll hear them hooting at night or whistling at night. And you know, if you grew up in Mexican culture, you're always told if you're out at night and you hear whistling, don't whistle back because that's a lechuza, and they take that as invitation to basically interfere with your life. So, yeah, owls are like very common in Mexican witchcraft. They're used to just monitor and spy on people.
Yeah. So for the next few nights or 3 weeks, actually, they hear this. Their uncle Raymond comes over. Well, Ramon comes over. He shoots it. He goes outside the first night he's there, and he's like, "Hola pendejo, why did you do that?" He's a lot younger than their dad. He's like 7-8 years younger than their dad. A lot more healthy. And he's been helping their dad do stuff, but he was out of town. He was overseas. He comes back from a trip to Thailand with his wife, and he's like, "Why are you putting up with this?" He's like, that's a bruja. This is brujeria. That's bad stuff. And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. I don't want any problems, And he's like, "You got problems already. If your daughter called the police on this guy, on this woman, whatever, you already have problems. Now it's time to take care of them." So what does he do? He goes outside and he shoots this thing, wounding its wing. Caught it as it was in mid-flight. It got up the size of a small person. That's what Ramon described to the, and I didn't talk to him, but their cousin. I talked to their cousin, and yeah. This is what he said. He said that this thing was the size of a small person. This is his son that told me this. He was there when we were talking. There was 3 or 4 people coming in and out, and it was good that they were all there. And so it was kind of fun. They were having a little get together. So I was getting to talk to a lot of different people and that witnessed this. There were quite a few people that were witnesses to this stuff. Not everybody saw the same things, but they saw different things. And this was one of the things. And he was like, "Holy crap." But why was the Lechuza so comfortable going there? Because to me, it was a place of evil. The people, they found the people that used to own this place. And you know what they said? You're still there? We turned it over to a real estate company to sell. We didn't really know exactly who it was, And yeah, we left because of all the activity. And this is the sorry thing about it. The guy was very nice about it. He said, "Look, I told the real estate company to disclose everything. The place was paid for." He's like, "We were just paying the taxes on it." They moved up to Dallas area to retire. He said, we told them that there was activity there, and then to make sure that whoever bought it knew this. He goes, whether they believed or not, he goes, I wanted a clear conscience. Guy's name was like Richard or something, but he told them, hey. And here's the thing. If you're going to sell a property that's a piece of shit like that, you probably should disclose that.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Now, if you're a renter, I can understand you leave like, hey, I'm out of here, whatever. But if you own a haunted ass house that's full of shit, you should probably tell the people, hey, it's full of all kinds of stuff. And this guy was like, but so the realtor, one of the only things that Tara's mom did, she called this realtor and ripped her ass and was like, lady, did this guy tell you this? No, I didn't tell you. The guy was on three-way, and the guy was like, yes, I did. He's like, these people want to sue you. They're not going to sue me because I have it in writing. We explicitly told you. And then she's like, oh, well, I must have forgotten. A lot of forgetting down there, apparently. That's kind of how it goes down there. I've spent time down there. And there's a lot of that.
Selective forgetting.
I start thinking. Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. That's just kind of par for the course. So they don't give a shit. Everybody's just trying to make a buck, right? Nobody gives a damn. Prison rules, huh? Yeah. So here's what happened. That really was aggravating to me. That part just kind of stuck in my craw. This guy was like, hey, look, there is something on that property. He actually was nice enough to talk to them on the phone for like an hour and tell them. Yeah, exactly. Evan hit it on the head once again. Evan's always hitting it on the head. Money makes people conveniently forget things. Yes, it does. They're like, who? Who's in charge? I don't know. I got this $7,000 check. Or I'm suing them because they didn't pay me. I've heard that's happening now too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: conveniently forgetting, or whatever you want to call it. This is the craziness that happens. I would have been so mad at this woman. Then it turns out that woman, her boss found out he was a whatever. He may have been honest about it because he said, "Look, she was told to disclose this to you." He's like, when we walked that property, we saw something weird out there. It was in the evening, and we saw a ball of light bouncing around out there. The owners of this property said this place was haunted as hell. They had it for 19 years. 19 years. The people that owned it, or no, wait, I'm sorry. They had it for 11. The people that owned it before them had it for 19 years. They had it for 10 years. So 10 years, 19, that's 39 years. The guy that bought, he said, we had it for 10 years. He's like, and I didn't stay there. He's like, we always had somebody renting it that were basically cow punchers that could take care of the cows and stuff like that. He goes, we didn't stay there. But the people that rented it, there were 4 different people that rented that different different times. One guy stayed there for 6 years. The other 3 divided up to 4 years. Like, it was bad. He said the guy that rented it for 6 years, he was the second guy. And he was there for a long time, but they think that he might have been subletting too, and just kind of, but he took care of. So they were like, whatever. These landlords were like, whatever. He's like, and then we stayed there for about a year ourselves at the very end. He's like, that year when we stayed there, when we sold our house in Corpus, he said that was the longest year of my life. He goes, that thing was haunted as hell. He goes, I did not believe in ghosts. He goes, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't like I didn't believe things were haunted. He's like, but that house made me believe that things could be infested with evil. He's like, and not the least of which were these small dwarf-like creatures. And this guy told him, he said there were 2 different kinds there. The second guy that took care of it for 6 years, he was an old cowboy from South Texas. And he said that guy was very adamant. He goes, you have all kinds of weird stuff on this property. One of the things that he had on this property, he says, they looked like elves. And they steal things. And they're very tiny. But there was another type that would show up there. And these things he called gremlins, right? He said they had pointy ears, kind of like these little elf-like creatures. He's like, but they showed up just like there would be a shimmering, like a vibration, and they would just pop up, like pop in and out of reality. And they looked like fat, frog-headed looking creatures with like no chin, and they had little stubby legs, and they walked kind of like crooked and sideways, and they were just weird looking. And they looked like gremlins. Really, they were more frog-like than people, but they had the appearance because they had arms that were like human arms and shoulders. Luckily, Tara says, I never saw those. She's like, but my boyfriend did. She's like, when we moved back over there for the last 6 months till we sold that place, till my dad could get it sold, and he was sick and in a retirement home at that point, and eventually had to go to hospice, and then he passed away. But she said that it was bad. She goes, my one sister's living in South Texas. The other one's living in San Antonio or in Austin. One lives in San Antonio, the other live in Austin, right? She says it was a far drive for them to come down here to see, Dad and do stuff. So they had to pick like a weekend or something. She goes, so we just took care of the house. We didn't want it to fall into disrepair and just, She goes, and I thought maybe, just maybe things had changed. But there again, we were talking about Justin's dogman encounters, which was really just demonic. Spiritual stuff. And Justin's encounters involved them going through absolute hell. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I told him, why didn't you tie, bind, and rebuke in the name of Christ? Well, I just didn't, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Same thing happened here. And all this crap, the wackiness ensued. Here's the problem. These creatures, maybe you offended them. Maybe the dad did run one of them over and hit a roadrunner. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Maybe the thing escaped. It doesn't take much when it comes to these little creatures, these monitos. Tell them.
Yeah, anything and everything with these things that they will find any little thing that you do or say and take offense to it. That's why you cannot coexist with these creatures, with these beings. You don't share space with them. You don't negotiate with them. You don't tribute. You don't make deals with them, because eventually they will always turn on you. That it's in their nature. So you cannot coexist with these things. They always find a reason why you become the enemy.
Mm-hmm. They're like the Brujas.
Yeah.
The witches. Oh, the curandera, which is only one insult from being a Bruja. These things are the same way. I hear all the time about people gifting them and, oh, I'm making friends with them. I'm talking to them. You shouldn't do that. I'll give you a very scary encounter that Tara's mom had. And she's kind of a villain in this story. She's not a good person. She did a lot of bad things. She wasn't a nice person. She kind of took her dad for a ride, and just when the money stopped, she stopped and started doing bad things. Thank you, Evan Tabaldi. He says, thank you for 7 years of amazing content. Been with you guys since Armando. Yeah, I was thinking about
That's
Armando
awesome,
today.
man.
But
yeah, Andres, the scorpion and the frog story. Exactly.
Yeah. So she was talking about waking up and seeing this fat looking little short dwarf-like creature run into her bathroom. What was that? What was that? Well, here's what happened. She was laying in her bed and she goes, I had my hand, this is her telling her daughter and her stepdaughters, her hand off the side of the bed. Their dog would hang out in there sometimes, or it would go in there, whatever. This is the Cocker Spaniel. She felt the Cocker Spaniel down there. Oh, okay. She could feel the fur and everything, and it was licking her hand, and it was whatever. And then she feels something move on the bed in between her and her husband. And then she realizes, she's like, oh shit. That's the Cocker Spaniel right there.
Mm-hmm.
Then what did I just touch down here, and what has licked my hand and woke me up? A chill went down her spine, and she's like, she sat up in bed and pulled her hand away, and she sees something crawl under the bed. And the dog is shaking in the middle of the bed and peeing on the bed. So, yeah, that would really suck. She wakes up, and it's like, guess what? 3:10 in the morning. She's like, doesn't sleep like that. Tara's like, my mother was like a sleeper. Like, she would sleep straight through. She would sleep 8 hours straight, 12 hours if you let her. Kind of reminds me of my nephew Zane. Just sleep as long as you just sleep for 2 or 3 days until you wake him up. He's going to sleep. Doesn't want to be a part of life.
It's on that Quaalude sleep.
He who loves sleep loathes life. So why be alive if you're just going to sleep all the time, right? Because sleeping is not really,
It's the little death.
It's the little death, right? So here it is, the hand, and then she's like, oh, what the hell? And she sees something going to the bed. Now it's the moment of truth. She has to wake her husband up and try to get him to go look under the bed and figure out what the hell it was. Yeah, that sucks. Husband doesn't want to wake up. We've heard this about 1,000 times. Because it's just you now. Because you know what they do? They take you into a pocket reality. Hey, you know the rest. We always talk about this. And then these creatures, whether they're aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, doesn't matter. They take you into a pocket reality, and you're just kind of like shit out of luck, right? Sucks to be you, or me, or Anthony, or Tony, or anybody, whoever has dealt with this crap. And here is what she does. She jumps off of the bed because the dog obviously is urinated, grabs the Cocker Spaniel, goes and puts it on the floor, and the dog runs to the front door. The door is closed. With the dog at the front door, she now has to go and look underneath that bed. It's not something she wants to do, but something that she has to do. So she does what any self-respecting woman would do. She runs and grabs a broom and decides she's going to shove the broom at this thing and get it to, get the hell out of there. Not totally taking into account what it is that's under the bed. She had seen something run into the bathroom a couple different times, and she was having dreams that sound kind of like abduction. But sometimes alien abduction and Fey abduction are very similar. And we've talked about that on the show. So she gets brave and she looks under the bed, and her husband, who's asleep, is not even aware of what's going on. And when she looks under the bed, it's dark. She tried turning the light on, and the light went poof. The lamp was off, and she couldn't reach the cord to turn because she's really short. But she takes the broom and decides that she's going to look under there, and she sees glowing eyes, glowing red eyes, and they're moving and they're blinking. And when she had already like committed to stick the broom under there, this thing yanked the broom and then shoved it back at her and hit her in the stomach so hard, she ended up having to go to the hospital because it caused an intestinal tear and she nearly died. Then the husband wakes up and he's like, what the hell? And then she's screaming, and this thing was literally reaching and pulling her by her foot, tore part of the flesh off of her foot. Gremlin, whatever the hell it is. Crazy. Goes to the hospital, and they literally had to have emergency surgery. She had an intestinal tear from this thing jabbing. And get this, they wanted to blame her husband. But luckily, even though she's not a really good person, and this is obviously she's not nice, she did say, look, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't my husband. There was something under our bed. And then she made up a thing, well, maybe it's a raccoon. So the doctor was like, it is. Yes, a raccoon. It had to be. I don't know. Rabid raccoon got under the bed, whatever. Well, do you want to get checked for rabies? And, you know, they wanted to give her shots because it scratched her foot. So she kind of had to commit to that. That sucks. After this particular incident, these things became more emboldened, and they started moving around the property with more frequency. Getting to the point where they were like, okay, there's a problem here. And their uncle started hanging out over there more, and he was shooting at these things. Now, it wasn't like every day. They weren't just like parachuting out of the sky like, you know, whatever, like airborne rangers. But every few days, there was something that would happen, and their uncle had the eye. He had the ojo, the old dotado, as we've talked about before. It's the gift, right? He could see these things. And whenever he'd see them, he'd shoot at them, and it would affect them. According to him, he killed at least 4 of these things. 3 of the little ones and 1 of the big ones. Thank you, Rita, for that donation. We appreciate that. It's people like you that keep the show going.
Extremely generous of you.
When this thing was hit, the frog-like creature, this is something that everybody saw because it laid there as a physical thing and was splattered everywhere. And they literally thought that this thing was like 4 or 5 times the size of a toad. And Ramon was like, no, it had a head like a human, but just with no chin. And it was weird. It was fat. It was like a dwarf, gremlin creature. And when he shot it, now they didn't wear clothes or anything like that, but it was bizarre. Now, it makes more sense when you get into her friend Stephanie, who came over with her aunt, who claimed that she was a psychic, and apparently she was. Now, I say people claim that because people say that all the time. I had people come to my house when I lived in a haunted house for 10 years, and they're like, I'm a psychic. And then they're like, what did you see? And I'm like, well, there was like this, what looked like a Hispanic woman. Yeah. Okay. I saw that too. Yeah. Yeah. And then there was like this black, tall shadow. Yeah. I saw that. That's what I see. Yeah. Well, there was this other thing that sounded kind of like a chicken scratching in the wall. Yeah. The chicken scratching in the wall. You're like,
I'm no expert, but I think this person's kind of...
Why don't you get the hell out of my house? Because the last thing I need is a freaking liar after I have all this other shit going on. That's kind of what happened. One team came over and they recorded EVPs and all kinds of shit. I don't know what they did with it, but they were like, "Your house is haunted."
See you later.
Big old see,
That'll be $39.95.
and you're like, excuse me, time out. Can you expel these? Can you expurgate these entities from my property? And the guy's like, no, but I can do the robot.
I can even say Domo already got
And then he did
Mr.
this.
Roboto.
Roboto is. That'll be $39.95.
Now,
You're welcome.
If you want me to do the worm, that'll be extra.
We have a special now.
Yeah.
We'll do the worm and the running man.
Yeah.
Where you're like, "Wait, you know what? You didn't really do much at all." And then they just leave.
We'll send you the bill in the mail.
Silence, non-believer. So this is what happened. So they had a woman that came, her friend Stephanie. This is Tara's friend Stephanie. While she was there the last 6 months, and the woman says, "I saw one of these creatures." They didn't tell her anything about any of this. They told her, "Let's see what this person finds out." And you know what she said? She said, "I saw a toad-like creature coming out of a green portal." Yeah. So apparently, the psychic lady, I don't know her name, but she did hit the nail on the head. And something had also attacked one of their horses. And that's crazy. But right there is where we're going to stop it for tonight. It's at the 2-hour mark, and I got to run. I got to go to work. But I appreciate everybody who tuned in and who listened to me rant at the beginning of the show. I just do that now because I want to just run the people off. That I don't just get out, go get the.
Now that all the losers are gone and the cool people are here, now we can start the story.
Now we can. Now, if you're still here after the 30-minute, shit talk, then maybe now we can start because that's where we're going to be. But it's not going to be like that because from now on, we're just going to take it over to Rumble and we're going to do the real random files. And then we're going to do the random files on YouTube is going to be used for doing history, science, different things like that, different projects that I have planned. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our new channels, Dead Zone Transmissions, which is Nellie's, these short little ghost stories and encrypted stories and things like that, alien abduction. And then we have the other channel. Of course, we'll talk about Random Files, True Crime Paranormal on Saturdays. That's going to be still going. We're going to be recording this week for Samuel Little, one of the most prolific serial killers in the history of the United States. People don't even know about him. Probably because he's it's just not part of the agenda. They have to tell you that all serial killers have to be a certain way. They're not. Trust me. Things are not always the way they seem. But that's it. And then we also have our other, I said that's it, but we also have our other stuff. What's it called? God dang it. Tomorrow night. Call-in show.
Open lines.
Open lines. And then through the week, what do we got for the week? Tell them.
Tuesday, we got our Patreon show. We're doing Bigfoot encounters state by state. Wednesday, we have another live stream where we tell people stories just like this one. Are we going to finish are we going to continue this story on Wednesday?
Yeah, we can do that on Wednesday, and then we're going to get in. We got to get into Meredith's story probably by next Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we got this week on the Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday is a members only.
There's a members only on YouTube, and that's going to be cool. It's one of our pre-records that we did. We did a whole bunch of them. We were working really hard.
We got a lot of them in the chamber.
Yeah. And then Friday, we have a new guest that's going to start a new series with, and that's Joel. And he's got a lot to say. And he is very, very, very well read on a lot of subjects. Joel is going to be a good guest. And then after that, we're just going to go for a few weeks, and then we're going to have Takayashi. We've already recorded some with her, but we recorded all with Joel. We finished up with him. I hope you guys enjoyed Sage Cooley, and before him, Sean. We have all these different guests coming on, and Saturday is True Crime Paranormal, and then Sunday, of course, we're back to this. But thank you for tuning in. Let's do the giveaway. We only have time for a couple, so the first two people that say, I have not won a hoodie, or I have not won, you win. You basically are the winners. And Dick is my co-host tomorrow night on the show.
Rootman Jr. is the first one.
Rootman Jr. says, I have not won. Well, Rootman Jr., you won.
Rootin' Tootin' Man Jr.
Rootin' Tootin'.
Quick on the draw.
Hot Rock says, I not won a hoodie. Have you won anything at all, though, Hot Rocks?
I think, I could be mistaken, but I think Hot Rocks is in the UK, though.
Yeah, if you're in the UK, then we have to give you the money so that you can buy a hoodie.
And then after Hot Rocks, there was Ice Bear Berserker, who said they haven't won.
I like that name, Ice Bear Berserker. That's badass.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Come on, Hot Rocks. Tell us what's going on here. Well, Hot Rocks, here's the thing. If you're in the UK, right? If you have not won anything, then I will send you the money for the hoodie, and you can buy it from our store. I don't care about the whatever. All I want to do is make people, hey, check out the show. I'm going to be recording and be on the show with Paul Sinclair pretty soon on Truth Proof. He's big in the UK. I'll be on his show, and then I'll be with Paul Wallace from Australia. And we have a lot of stuff in the chamber. A lot of people want to record with us, and we're going to be on Daniel Hamilton's show. We're going to be recording for it on the 12th and 13th. So that is the Cryptid podcast, I believe. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And we also I was just on the Cosmic Switchboard with
James Bartley.
And he's Asian, but he's from Australia.
Oh, we need to put the banner up with the instructions for Rootman Jr.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got to get back with him, Hot Rock, so I can let him know what days I'm available so I can be on the show. I love Paul Sinclair. He's an old friend, and he really has backed me up through
He's
all
awesome.
the crap and everything. Speaking of good friends, there's Abe Seas, my man, my brother from another mother. So Abe Seas Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I like to hang out there at night. You might catch me over there lurking around in the chat.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll jump on and we'll talk and hang out, shoot the breeze. Tonight I got to go to bed early, but I'll probably pop in at some point and say hi. But I got to go to bed early because doctor's office, one of the ladies that works for him is very overzealous and decided to, force me to go in at 10 a.m. or wait until May.
Gatekeepers.
So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So I'd love to go in at 10 a.m. and considering I don't get off work until 7. Thank you. So I'd have to stay up and then I have to be, but I will still be here to do the Patreon. Tonight we have the Patreon, or on Tuesday we have the Patreon. So I'll be there at 7 o'clock? We got to do it 7 because we got to record afterwards for True Crime Paranormal. But tomorrow night, it's open lines. If you have a weird story, weird, wild, wacky stuff, bring it to the show and talk about it. Right? Paul's got a big show. Yeah, Paul's good. I like Paul. He's a good dude.
Rootman Jr., since you won, what you need to do to send us your information so you can get your stuff is you send us an email to giveaways@prtpodcast.com, and we're going to put a banner up at the bottom of the screen. It's going to show you what the email address is, but it's giveaways@prtpodcast.com. Send us an email there saying, hey, my name is Rootman Jr. on YouTube. I won the giveaway. Here's my shirt size and my mailing address. That's all you got to do, and we'll send you your stuff.
And also, Ice Bear won too. So I'm gonna go. He was the second person that I'm trying to find his deal here.
You still with us, Ice Bear Berserker?
He said, I haven't won. So, Ice Bear, let me know that you got this because otherwise it's an exercise in futility. Guys, if you haven't joined the Patreon, you got to do so. It's a $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 tier. And it's a great way to help and support the show. And you get an extra show every Tuesday. Right now, we're doing Bigfoot in all the 50 states. We pull out a map and we show you where they're happening and what's going on. It's a real interactive show. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be there on Tuesday. What state are we covering? Everybody was asking me about that. We've already done what? Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
We've done Kansas, Missouri. We've done Arkansas. We've done Louisiana. How about Mississippi?
Oh,
That's my next target is Mississippi. So be there or be square. We're going to do Mississippi. We're going to go like this. We're going to go to the east and we're going to go to the west. We're probably going to do Arizona next week. But this week is going to be Mississippi. Mississippi's got a lot of weird stuff, and I got a couple of dogman stuff in there too. So we're not just doing Bigfoot. We're doing dogman, Bigfoot, whatever you got, whatever have you. We talk about it. So Bigfoot and the nature of reality in all 50 states. Check it out. Tuesday night, 7. This week's going to be 7 o'clock. I got to get in there and get it done early so I can record afterwards. But tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Monday. Probably be from my my little dining room, or what do you call it? The den. I have 2 dens and a 2 living rooms. It's weird where this place is made, but whatever. One of them is where I do the show. So yeah, so that's what's happening. That's what's going on. And pretty soon we're going to be doing some stuff. We're going to be going out to my Aunt Linda's ranch. And then we're going to be heading to my friend's bar out in Cistern to look for Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever, because of the reports that we've gotten from those places. My aunt had the weird thing. If you guys haven't watched the video of what happened on Christmas Eve, man, it's crazy. But that's what we're doing. Did Ice Bear?
Yeah, he responded.
Cool. The man with the cool name. So we got the Root Man and the Ice Bear Man. And guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who donated. We appreciate you showing up. We're getting our numbers back up in the chat. You know, they're like, they're dying. They don't have 600, 700 people in their chat. I don't give a shit. Hopefully they showed themselves to the door. And we only get 400 or 500 people because I want quality over quantity. Anybody can get quantity. I got a bunch of friends who get all kinds of quantity, but they don't have the paratroopers. They all want you, you know, and I don't blame them. Even my friends are like, man, I'm jealous. I wish I had, you know, there's some people though that are nice about it. And then there's some people that are like, oh, I'm going to destroy you so I can take your audience. You will never take my audience.
Yeah, we got
because real recognizes real.
We got a 24 karat gold audience where everybody else has a 10 karat gold audience. All the impurities have been removed from our people.
Yeah, ours is pure. So there you go, guys. Thank you for being what makes PRT what it is and make it function. We love you. Good night. I want to have the little bear king here.
Snatching souls king.